And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez continues to be a rock star in the Democratic Party. She drew bigger crowds at this weekend's South by Southwest festival than Democratic presidential candidates like Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar, where she made her case against moderate, quote-unquote, Republicans. Watch.
I mean, moderate is not a stance. It's just an attitude toward life of like, we've become so cynical that we view meh or we view cynicism as an intellectually superior attitude. And we view ambition as youthful naivete. When we think about the greatest things we have ever accomplished as a society have been ambitious acts of vision.
So, it makes a lot of sense to me at this point. I mean, that made sense.
Yeah. Really?
Not
that
everything she
sounds
says
a lot like
does.
Trump to me.
Well, I mean, not
that
everything.
sounds a lot like Trump, but on the left. I think we need more of what Bill Clinton did in the 90s in passing a budget,
sounds
working
like
with
Trump
moderate
to you?
Republicans, and less of talk like this.
Which part sounds like Trump?
Moderates, meh. We just need to go to the extreme ends of things.
Well, no.
They never want to admit that they do anything wrong. I took personal offense to this because you guys all know this. I'm not an ideologue. I'm a moderate. And if anything, I would look at the biggest moments in our country's history, and how did we get there? It was compromise. It was able to listen to each other, right? I'm not an ideologue because I don't look at the red lane and the blue lane and have to fit extremely in one or the other. I would say I'm more nuanced. And I think that might be more interesting. I think that the country needs more of that.
You know what I think about her? I think she sounds like a college professor a lot of times, like a sociology professor. She sort of says things, you know, like capitalism is irredeemable, like things like that. I've had professors like that at Queens College many years ago.
Yeah.
That's why the Catholic Church said to me, don't go to Queens College. And I did. But I mean, I'm saying that she is sometimes just as espousing philosophies. It's not necessarily her policy or what she would be able to do. Half the things she talks about are impossible to do.
Yeah, but she's one of the biggest voices in the Democratic Party. Only Bernie Sanders, I would think, has a bigger Twitter following. So to say that this is Republicans making her a star, no, it's the media in part to blame, but it's also people that are following her.
And it's the Republicans who are obsessed with the girl.
I absolutely think the Republicans' obsession with her, the Republicans picking on her because she's dancing on a rooftop, wanting to know where she lived, wanting to know whether she was rich or not, picking on her because she was a waitress. I think all of those things have led to a lot of her stardom. Look, her taking on a sacred cow from the Democratic side, Joe Crowley, and beating him, all her. Took a lot of chutzpah, took a lot of courage. But since then, the Republican obsession with her is what has led her, and her like Cardi B quality of clapping back on Twitter is what has led her to this stardom. People don't like.
Republicans are to blame for the things that she said last week, and when she said that the country is 10% away from garbage. You know what I thought about when she said that? I thought. Just listen to it. She said that we are basically as close as you can possibly get to being garbage. I thought about that World War II veteran that we had in our audience a few weeks ago, the sacrifices he's made.
It's not calling him garbage.
But I'm telling you what I thought in that moment, and that's what this table's about. We all have views. I thought about the ability for us to sit here and do what we do. Do you think that he feels that this country is 10% away from being garbage? You know, I think the Democratic Party should use her as their spokesperson. They should make her ideas the platform. She is the greatest gift to Republicans, just how Trump has been to the Democrats.
I want to make one little point here, because they call her radical, because she believes that automation is coming, and that people should embrace it in a way, because, you know, it'll give people more time to do their thing. And the reason that people are scared of automation is because the safety net is being pulled out from under us. And case in point, which I think is even more radical than anything she has said, is Mitch McConnell said in October that not being about to push through Social Security and Medicare cuts was the single biggest disappointment of my time in Congress. This guy has sent the deficit through the roof and now wants people like you and me and all of us to give money from Social Security and all of the things that we're entitled to in this country. That is a right-wing radical position to take.
That doesn't make it better to say because someone else did something worse.
I would like to.
I'm just showing you both sides.
Well, in terms of AOC, I agree with you. I think the Republicans like to pick somebody as a boogeyman and sort of say, this is the face of the Democratic Party. Let's face it, she's one freshman congresswoman out of 435.
But who has a bigger following than her on social media?
The other thing is that when you proclaim her to be this leftist person, when you look at her policies, I think we need to stop talking about personalities and look at someone's policies. She's talking about the Green New Deal. There was an Iowa poll, Iowa, that just came out that said something like 91% polled say that they prefer a candidate who supports the Green New Deal. In Iowa, 84% say they prefer a candidate who supports shifting to a government-run healthcare system of Medicare for all. 81% care about healthcare. So let's
she's
face
a moderate, meh.
she tends to be, her positions tend to be embraced by people in the middle of the country. So this notion somehow that she is this leftist, left-wing crazy person is not true.
She's talking about,
looking at policies.
She said capitalism is irredeemable.
Even some Democrats find her to be on the fringe of the left wing and of the Democratic Party. I can tell you that where I live, moderate Democrats were able to flip 2 seats in this last election. And I do think that she is a, part her creation and her ability and her skill, and part the obsession of Republicans, because there is logic to their method. They want to paint the entire Democratic Party with a brush stroke as fringe left and make her the spokesperson and make her the polarizing figure. And look, yes, she's got the biggest following, and with that comes a lot of responsibility. And she needs to be accurate. She needs to be right. She needs to be responsible and think and thoughtful about what she says.
She says she's just one voice.
But she's got a loud voice.
Umbrella is actually very, very big. There's room for a lot of voices, and there should be room for very big ideas.
If this is your message, capitalism is irredeemable. You want to compare FDR to racism. You want to talk about this country being 10% away from garbage. By all means, if that's where the Democrats are going to go, and it's clear that's where
the Democrats are there.
She has one of the biggest followings in the Democratic Party right now.
Context, actually. I'd like that quote in context.
Okay, we're going to have to take a break.